Welcome to the Explosion Networks reacts for the first trailer teaser trailer, for Joker, the Todd Phillips Joker movie, starring Joaquin Phoenix. The origin story. Everyone kind of laughed about this film when it was announced and was like, that's going to be silly. And then they announced Joaquin Phoenix and people were like, okay, maybe I'll give it a slight glance and see if it's okay. And then the trailer dropped overnight. And then all I've seen on Twitter is everyone saying, it's so good. And now I'm like, okay. No, don't set my expectations so high, but
no,
yeah, everybody's kind of it's been one of those interesting from that sounds horrible, fuck that movie to
no, we don't need a Joker origin story.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah,
and we'll see if we do need a Joker origin story.
It's yet to be determined, and our opinion is the one that counts for everything. But yeah. Do you have a synopsis for this one, Ash?
I do. A failed stand-up comedian is driven insane and becomes a psychopathic murderer.
That's it.
Shocking.
That's shocking.
That is what happens.
That's about all I know. All right. Well, we've seen pictures. I've seen set pictures. All these sorts of things, of course, that Todd Phillips has released on his Instagram. Finally, time to actually just watch the damn trailer for the thing. We'll tease the trailer.
Arthur, does it help to have someone to talk to?
My mother always tells me to smile and put on a happy face. She told me I had a purpose to bring laughter and joy to the world. Hey, stop them! Is it just me? Or is it getting crazier out there?
Lost some weight in this.
Smile, though your heart is aching. Smile, even though it's
she's gonna die, right?
When there are clouds in the sky, you'll get by.
What?
If you smile to your fear and sorrow, smile, and maybe tomorrow you'll find that life is still worthwhile.
What's so funny?
Just
freak.
This fall, see a man go insane.
Gotham has lost its way. What kind of coward would do something that cold-blooded? Someone who hides behind a mask.
I used to think that my life was a tragedy. But now I realize it's a comedy.
Where's Mark Maron?
you just smile.
I'm shook.
Yeah. Why are you shook?
Because the people were right. It actually looks good. What do you think?
Yeah, it looks all right. It doesn't look like any superhero comic book thing we've seen sort of before. At the start, I was like, oh, they're just going to do the Killing Joke. You know, the backstory origin, but it looks like they're going slightly different.
Yeah. Well, they're stealing stuff from that. Like, that was the thing where they ever gave him a name and some sort of backstory. So I feel like it's obviously inspired by elements of the Killing Joke, but like the origin story element of Killing Joke, less so the stuff with Batman and stuff in it. But
I definitely don't get the impression he's going to fall into a giant pit of acid.
No, because I suppose it's unrealistic. So I feel like they could do some sort of chemical thing at the end of the movie that fucks him up potentially, but but do it realistically, as realistically as you could get, I suppose, to keep in tone with it. One of the themes that I think was getting chucked around a lot for this movie when they announced it and stuff was like, and people I see on Twitter a lot have been like comparing it to Taxi Driver, Scorsese film, and then also comparing it oddly to Scorsese's film The Great Comedian which had Robert Downey, not Robert Downey, Robert De Niro in it as well. And you see him for a blimp in this on stage, possibly performing as a comedian. I'm not sure who's actually supposed to be
He's
playing,
in this
so,
film, yeah.
Yeah, I'm not. So those those things I could see, like I could definitely see where people and those influences could be. The one person, as I called that there, that I was looking forward to seeing was Mark Maron in it, but we don't get to see him in that trailer, well, in this teaser trailer. So that's interesting. But it's really like he looks really good. He's very gaunt, obviously, and he looks just interesting take. The part at start where he's like pouring water on his mother and stuff and like taking care of his mother actually reminded me, because the last thing I watched in Phoenix in was that I can't even remember the name of it. The one that came out last year. That hold on, let me click on this fucking thing real quick and find out what it's called, because it had a similar.
Never
forget. Hold on. You were never really here. That one.
Yeah.
Which had that has a mother. He has a very like close mother weird relationship in that going as well. So it kind of reminded me of that oddly. I like everything I see though. I like the overall tone. I like what I'm seeing from his performance in it.
It doesn't look like a Todd Phillips film.
It 100% does not look like a Todd Phillips film, which to be honest, as much as I like the first Hangover, when he was announced as a director, I'm like, no, I can't see it, because I didn't like War, whatever it was called, much either. War Dogs. I wasn't a big fan of War Dogs either, so I wasn't particularly sold on him behind it. But I like what I'm seeing in trailer. And of course, it's a teaser trailer. It could be cut and tonally different to what the actual movie's like. We don't really know. But Joaquin Phoenix's performance in this, I'm liking, because he's going to do this thing throughout the movie where it goes from, obviously there's a ticking point or a slow several things build up that gets to him to being the Joker and being like, because you hear him say the line about.
I also got slight John Doe vibes, obviously from the Telltale Batman series. Obviously, he's not as far along as John Doe. But
I could see it.
Sort of innocence to start off with,
I guess. Well,
naive innocence, I guess.
Yeah, it doesn't seem quite as dumb. That's why to put it in that series. He's quite dumb. It comes off at the start. In this, it just seems like he's it's like it starts. It's like he's a nice guy. He's just out trying to look after his mum and get a job. That's kind of like what it plays out as. And then he's constantly down on his luck, and he's getting the world's really just shitting on him constantly. So I think it's going to be that turning point, and whatever he decides is whatever makes sense in the Joker's brain, I guess, that gets him to the point of, I need to do this to make Gotham a better place. Because he does say something about like Gotham's needs help or ruined or whatever he says at some stage in that trailer about stuff.
There's a guy who mentioned somebody wearing a mask. Do you reckon?
No, I reckon it was just him, because you see him put the Joker mask. I think he's just wearing, before he gets to the paint and stuff, I think he's just chucked on a Joker mask instead of the full makeup and costume and stuff like that. I like the little bit of laugh we see. I'm a big fan
that
of
laugh, man. He's nailed it.
I really, really like that. I like that his original look that we get to see with him just being, the long hair and stuff we see at start, and then by the time we get to the end of it, he does look really quite creepy, like with that sly smile right at the end, compared to, the stuff we see at start where it's like, oh, innocent kind of guy, and then you get to the end of that trailer and he in that full makeup and suit and everything, and he gives that slight turn of face and he's just evil. Like, it just comes across proper evil. And I really, really like the look that they've gone with, personally. I've seen people complain about it and stuff. It reminds me a lot of, mental blanking on the actor's name, but the Adam West Batman series Joker. Romero.
I know who you're talking about. I just can't remember.
It reminds me of that Joker. And obviously that Joker was a more comedic Joker, and this one's going to be a more darker, serious take. But the suit and the makeup and everything about the look reminds me of that Joker look more so than any other Joker. I really like it. So yeah, what do you think about the suit or the costume?
Yeah, it differentiates it from a lot of the more modern takes and interpretations. So yeah, I'm on board. And
it is like a more proper
Cesar Romero, by the way.
Cesar Romero, thank you. Yeah, it is like a more proper like showman costume compared
Yeah.
to like say obviously Jared Leto's one was this punk rocker leather thing, and then previous to that
Yeah.
Heath Ledger's was more. It was kind of more like, oh, he's just got like a purple trench coat on and stuff with
Yeah.
messed up makeup. Whereas this one is more clowny, like proper clowny looking, I guess, which is I enjoy. Any final thoughts or things on it? Or?
No, keen to see more.
Me too.
Still not going to get my hopes too high, but yeah, it definitely looks intriguing.
Yeah. I'll say my hopes are higher than they were after watching the trailer.
Yeah.
I wasn't super down. I wasn't like, this movie's going to suck. I was just like, Todd
Like-
Phillips, I'll wait and see. I really love
I'll
Joaquin
wait.
Phoenix, and he's one of the greatest actors we have working at the moment as far as I'm concerned. But, Todd Phillips, can Joaquin carry the movie by himself? So, but yeah, no, I'm keen. I loved everything I saw about that for sure.
Yeah.
Keen to see more. You'll see more with us and hear our thoughts, of course.
Yeah.
If you stay tuned to youtube.com/Explosion Network or explosionnetwork.com, of course. If you're over on the YouTube, you should go over there. And if you're not, you should rate the video, subscribe to the channel, of course, and let us know what you thought of the trailer in the comments down below. Head on over to explosionnetwork.com or your podcast servers and find our movie podcast as well, where you'll probably hear us talk about this in some regard and fashion in the future episodes of that show. It's called What Do You Want to Watch? Just search the podcast services for it.
But Dylan, what are you going to rate this trailer?
Good question. Good
Yeah.
question.
Yeah.
Let's give it double thumbs up.
Same.
Bye.